Hello again. Good to see you back. While I drink my coffee, I want to carry on with my story of the Irish in the Boer War. One of the largest contingents of foreign volunteers fighting with the Boers was the Irish. The Irish Transvaal Brigade, often called MacBride's Brigade, was a unit or commando of Irish and Irish-American volunteers who fought for the Boers during the Second Boer War from late 1899 to 1900. The brigade was formed by John MacBride from among the Irish immigrant Uitlander population in the Transvaal with the aim of striking a blow against their historic enemy, the hated English. The brigade's inception was described by MacBride in a short article that he wrote shortly after he arrived in France from South Africa in November 1900.
It was born on the 3rd of September 1899 in Johannesburg, when a few of the Irish nationalists of the Rand responded to my invitation. We unanimously decided that it was our duty to Ireland to seize the opportunity of paying back a little of the score we owed England. We summoned a public meeting of our countrymen for the following Sunday, and to it they came like men, miners and artisans, clerks and merchants, some new chums just out and old prospectors who had spent the best part of their lives knocking around Africa. After that we went ahead organising, and on October 1st, the day the people of Dublin gathered at Bursford Place to support us, we met at the Von Brandy Square. Everything was working smoothly. I had made the necessary arrangements with Joubert for the immediate arming and equipping of the brigade. Colonel Blake was elected chief at the meeting, and next day we opened the brigade office at the corner of Pritchard and Van Welly streets, hoisting the Irish, Transvaal and American flags over it, and posting our call to arms all over Johannesburg.
John MacBride was born on May 7, 1868 at Westport, County Mayo, the youngest of the 5 sons of Patrick MacBride and his wife, Honoria, both of them shopkeepers in the town. MacBride was educated at the Christian Brothers School in Westport and at St. Malachi's College, Belfast. Upon leaving school, he worked as a young man in a draper's shop in Castlereagh, County Roscommon, and whilst there he joined the Gaelic Athletic Association, the GAA, and the Irish Republican Brotherhood, the IRB. He moved to Dublin to work in a chemist, and it was there that MacBride joined the nationalist group, the Irish National Association, which he represented at an Irish Republican convention in Chicago in 1895. In 1896 he emigrated to the Transvaal Republic, where he worked on the Langlaagte gold mine outside Johannesburg. MacBride became leader of the Irish Uitlanders, which soon included Arthur Griffith, and together they organized a 98th centenary commemoration in Johannesburg that many claimed was on a par with the one held in Dublin. With the outbreak of the South African War in October 1899, MacBride organized the Irish Transvaal Brigade of about 300 men to fight on the Boer side. He became a naturalized citizen of the Republic and was made a justice of the peace. A good soldier and leader, he fought with the brigade in Natal, usually on his horse Fenian Boy. For 4 months the brigade guarded a long-term Crusoe siege gun on Pepworth Hill outside Ladysmith, and he fought in the battles of Tolana Hill, Colenso and Tugela Heights. Regarding the shelling of the Royal Irish Rifles by their own guns, MacBride was convinced it was no accident.
On the 14th of December we got orders to proceed to Colenso, and I need not say the order was joyously obeyed. At 6 in the morning the fight started, and we were stationed as a support to the guns. At Colenso we saw many things, which I am quite sure the correspondents of the British press never reported. At one period, some gallant Englishmen ran their Red Cross wagons onto the field and sheltered themselves behind them. One well-directed cannon shot fixed the skulkers. The most remarkable sight of the day was the English artillery deliberately shooting down the Irish soldiers who seemed disinclined to advance on the Boer position.
In his absence, MacBride was nominated to stand in February 1900 as an independent nationalist in the South Mayo by-election, following the resignation of Michael Dovitt as a protest against the Boer War, but he lost to the Irish Parliamentary Party candidate. In May 1900, MacBride's brigade was involved in successive sorties and skirmishes as it protected the rear of the Boer retreat through the Orange Free State Republic. It was inevitable that MacBride would come up against his countrymen in British uniform, and again MacBride was not complimentary.
The Battle of Dundee, we read of it afterwards in the British papers, was long a source of fun to the brigade and to the Boers. We read of how the British troops made gallant bayonet charges and captured 11 cannon, and how they stood at eve, like eagles in the sun, victorious. But it wasn't that way. There were no bayonet charges, not even a revolver captured, and at eve the British Army was running for all it was worth, leaving its arms and its stores, and its tents and its sick and wounded, and its dying general behind. We took scores of Irish soldiers of the British Army at Dundee, and they begged hard to be allowed to join the brigade. But we trained them off to Pretoria, and they consoled themselves by singing God Save Ireland and cheering for the Boers en route.
MacBride's unit was one of the last of the Republican forces to leave Johannesburg in front of the occupying British Army. MacBride commanded what was left of the unit from June 7, 1900, as it retreated across the eastern Transvaal, and he was still in command when the Irish Commando disbanded and its surviving members crossed into Portuguese Mozambique at Komatipoort on September 23, 1900. He lived in Paris for 6 years and returned to Ireland in 1907, saddened by the breakup of his marriage to Maud Gonne and separation from his son Sean. MacBride participated in the 1916 uprising. Some say it caught him by surprise, and served in the 2nd Battalion of Thomas MacDonogh, who appointed MacBride his second in command. By all accounts, MacBride fought well, and before surrendering on April 30th, he encouraged the men under his command to escape and take up the fight again at a later date. He himself made no effort to escape or to disguise his identity. He was court-martialed on May 4th and condemned to death. General Brigade, who presided over the courts-martial, described him as a brave man and the most soldierly of the defendants. After surviving many close calls on the battlefield, where he displayed immense courage and fortitude, Major John MacBride was shot by firing squad in Kilmainham Jail at 3:47 a.m. on May 5, 1916. For those interested in learning more about MacBride's brigade and Major John MacBride, you are urged to listen to the fascinating lecture by Professor Donald McCracken, the leading authority on the subject. The next time we meet, I will be talking about another brave soldier in the Irish Transvaal Brigade, its first commander, the Irish-American, Colonel John Blake. Tot ziens, Jalla.